Daar's min mense wat my so irritate soos die jong Ebrahim Rasool. Ja, dis bra. He's an idiot of note. And hy wil hom slim hou, man. He wants to keep him smart even after catching on kak. Now, before I go to the latest stuff that happened now, where he got kicked out of the US as the ambassador, let me just refresh your memory of how this bra dropped the people of the Western Cape, about how he sold out his own people. So he was the premier of the Western Cape, and he was the one that was there to ensure the colored vote in the Western Cape. Now remember, it is now 2025. The ANC didn't have the Western Cape in more than 10 years. They didn't have the Western Cape. So at that time, he was the premier. And as I can recall, most of your smaller municipalities and even Cape Town Metro was ANC run, along with the provincial government. And he was at the head as the premier. Timan, he dropped the people of the Western Cape in a big way. And I'm not saying he dropped the colored people of the Western Cape. He dropped all the people of the Western Cape in a bad way. And I'm going to take you to two incidents that happened. The first one, he made a solemn promise to the textile industry. You know, our aunties that work in the clothing factories in Woodstock, in Salt River, in Epping, you know, all of these established clothing companies and textile companies, you know, they, from the time of probably the 50s, 60s, our grandparents and our parents, they had decent jobs, because the Western Cape clothing industry and the Western Cape textile industry was one of the biggest industries that provided jobs, employment, security to the people of the Western Cape. And he, as the premier, he ensured he's going to protect the people's jobs. He's not going to sell us out to China. Wrong! We don't know how he did it. But under his watch, many factories got closed. Textile companies got closed. Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people lost their jobs due to him allowing the influence of foreign textile imports based on national government agreement. Now, yes, he was an ANC comrade, and he was a premier and a member that stood for the ANC, so he had to allow this, but he didn't have to allow it that much. And he was not a man of his word. He sold the people out, and his own people lost their jobs because of him. Shortly after, there was some infighting even in the Western Cape, and then Squatcher and some other guys, they kicked him out, and shortly after that, the Western Cape got lost to the ANC lost the Western Cape ever since, because plainly speaking, the people of the Western Cape couldn't trust the ANC anymore. And to this very day, it is mostly supporting the DA. Mostly. You still have your ANC corners, but they mostly support the DA. What happened to Ebrahim Rasool after disappointing our people? He got a cushy job as the ambassador, a liquor job, you know, and he got the job of the US ambassador, which is a big one. And I think he was in that job for about 10 years, more than 10 years, and he actually got rewarded for selling us out. That is the man that says he wears his persona non grata badge with honor. That is that guy. Same guy. Now, let me also remind you. Number two, this man takes ANC comradeship above the needs of the people. Okay? He takes ANC comradeship above the needs of the people, regardless if it is right or wrong. If there is a comrade that steals money, if there is a comrade that is guilty of misconduct, this man will support that friend of his regardless if that people stole money from the people. If that person stole money from the people. Now, who am I talking about? Now, this is where we became a joke. The headline of the Argus shows, is the Argus or the Burger, I can't remember. It shows Ebrahim Rasool as a sitting premier. Now, to put it in American terms, I would say, if we were to say that one of the states in America would be equivalent to a province, then we can actually say Ebrahim was like a governor. So he was that time a sitting premier, and he hand in hand walked into the gates of Malmesbury prison with convicted ANC comrade of his at that time, Tony Yingeni. Tony Yingeni was found guilty of corruption or something in that line, something that caused him to be sentenced to prison. Now, instead of distancing himself from this man and actually rebuking what he has done, you know, for the sake of fairness, for the sake of good governance, for the sake of being a good example, this man went hand in hand and waved at the people. You know, when Nelson Mandela was released from Victor Verster prison those years, and then he had that freedom walk, when he was walking out and he was waving at the people, you know, that. So Ebrahim thought he was Nelson Mandela at that time, walking hand in hand into I think it was Malmesbury or Kudut prison, one of the two, walking in there with Tony Ngeni waving. Like, I don't know what was the point of that. The point that he was trying to make, I think, was, yeah, we are accountable for our actions, and I applaud Comrade Ngeni for taking his punishment like a man. That was not what we saw. What we saw was, you better treat this man right here, because I am the highest office holder in the province, and I'm personally escorting him here as my friend. So you better look after him. That is the message that we got. You will never get that in any other established democracy, established government country. You won't get it. If you belong to a party that is a governing party and you are guilty of misappropriating funds or being involved in criminal activity and you get charged, the sitting office bearer is not going to go with you, hold your hand like a friend, and hand you over. It doesn't work like that. If they will do it, they will do it from a punitive point of view, yes. Not hugging him, holding his hand, basically telling everyone without any doubt, this man is going to get special treatment in prison. We don't know if it really happened, but yeah. He set the course for that to happen. This Tony Ngeni came out after that, shortly after that, he didn't serve long. That is the caliber of a person that Ebrahim Rasool is. Comrades above all else. If you thought that the other ANC members um, or current sitting members like Zuma, like, okay, cool, Zuma's not an ANC member, I make the wrong example now, he's MK now, but I can't get to their names now. If you thought they were worse when it comes to comradeship above all else, this Rasool, he is one of them. But you know what? I'm thinking it's not because of anything related to the struggle. I'm thinking it's because this man is desperate to keep a job. And what else is he going to do outside of politics? He's already persona non grata amongst the people, amongst the business people of South Africa, for selling us out to China. So, in politics, it's the only place where he still has a place. This man needs to apologize unreservedly to the US government for his actions and try to solve the issues at hand in relation to possible sanctions coming up against our country. Regardless if Donald Trump was right or wrong, what he did was not right in the way that he did it. That is not positive engagement. Anyway, that is my 5 cents worth on Ebrahim Rasool. The Western Cape, we don't forget. Keep well, people. Like and subscribe. Be for yellow, man. Peace out.